And let me restart. Hello, everybody. This is my Spreaker Studio podcast, Holistic Health, as well as my the Holistic Health Approach um, YouTube channel. Had to sit back and think about that for a minute. And give me just a minute. Let me make sure I get my microphone adjusted. Okay. So as I do that, this presentation that I'm doing today is on something that I researched in the past, and I don't have too much information on it, and but I do feel like it would be something that will be of interest, based on the type of person that I am. I'm one of those people, you know, who's into old wives' tales and natural remedies and things of that nature, and I ended up going into nursing. However, I've always wanted to do something in terms of healing, um, health related. I wanted to be anything from a doctor to a social worker, and at a point in time, I wanted to be a nutritionist and a dietitian. I mean, it's a combination of things, and you can be whatever you want to be. I think ultimately where you end up being um is would be the best rewarding uh field or profession that you could ever have. Whatever you end up being, your passion is always going to be the last thing that you are, and that could very well be a combination of many of things that you aspire or hoped for in your life's journey. Okay. So today, with this holistic health podcast, I'm going to speak on something that, as I mentioned, I researched in the past, and it has come up again since I was, on my path to my spiritual journey, and it's called Reiki Healing. Reiki Healing, and it's a form of a type of healing to assist with some of your minor concerns, spiritual concerns. It does involve the chakras, which you do have your seven chakras, and I have for those who are tuning in or will be tuning in or listening in. If you take note of my holistic health podcast, I do go over the seven chakras under there as well, and I have began to do an update on the chakras, and I've done two, and I still have five more to do in terms of your chakra and balancing your chakras and things that can be indicative of a blocked chakra. Okay. So what is Reiki? Reiki is, and that's it's pronounced as Reiki, and it's spelled as Reiki. Reiki is a Japanese technique for stress reduction and relaxation that promotes healing. It is administered by laying on hands, and it is based on the idea that an unseen life force energy flows through us and is what causes us to be alive. If one's life force energy is low, then we are more likely to get sick or feel stressed. And if it is high, we are more capable of being um happy and healthy. So it says the word Reiki is made of two Japanese words, which means God's wisdom or the higher power, and ki, a ray, which is means God's wisdom or the higher power, and ki, which is life force energy. So together is spiritually guided life force energy. So it says a treatment feels like a wonderful glowing radiance that flows through and around you. Reiki treats the whole person, including body, emotions, mind, and spirit, creating many beneficial effects that include relaxation and feelings of peace, security, and well-being. Many have reported miraculous results. It says Reiki is a simple, natural, and safe method of spiritual healing and self improvement that everyone can use. It has been effective in helping virtually every known illness and malady and always create a beneficial effect. It also works in conjunction with all other medical and therapeutic techniques to relieve side effects and promote recovery. An amazing, simple technique to learn. The ability to use Reiki is not taught in the usual sense. So you do have certification classes and things that you can go through. And I do aspire to do that in the future as well, where students can take on Reiki classes, and once they pass, they'll have the ability to attunement given by a Reiki master and allow the student to tap into an unlimited supply of life force energy to improve one's health and enhance the quality of life. Its use is not dependent on one's intellectual capacity or spiritual development, and therefore is available to everyone. It has been successfully taught to thousands of people of all ages and backgrounds. While Reiki is spiritual in nature, it is not a religion. It has no dogma, and there is nothing you must believe in order to learn and use Reiki. In fact, Reiki is not dependent on belief at all and will work whether you believe in it or not, because Reiki comes from God. Many people find that using Reiki puts them more in touch with the experience of their religion rather than having only an intellectual concept of it. So it says, while Reiki is not a religion, it is important to live and act in a way that promotes harmony with others. So Mikawa, you see, the founder of Reiki system of natural healing, recommendation that one practice certain simple ethical ideas to promote peace and harmony, which are nearly universal across all cultures. During a meditation several years after developing Reiki, McCall decided to add the Reiki ideas to the practice of Reiki. The ideas came in part from the five principles of the Meiji Emperor of Japan, whom Mikhail admired. The ideas were developed to add spiritual balance to Reiki. Their purpose is to help people realize that healing the spirit by consciously deciding to improve oneself is a necessary part of the Reiki healing experience. In order for the Reiki healing energies to have lasting results, the client must accept responsibility for his or hers healing and take an active part in it. Therefore, his system of Reiki is more than the use of the Reiki energy. It must also include an active commitment to improve oneself in order for it to be a complete system. The ideas are both guidelines for living gracious life and virtues worthy of practice for their inherent value. So it does have some words here from the founder of this particular Reiki. It says the secret art of inviting happiness, the miraculous medicine of all diseases just for today. Do not anger, do not worry, and be filled with gratitude. Devote yourself to your work. Be kind to people. Every morning and evening, join your hands in prayer. Pray these words to your heart and chant these words with your mouth. So his Reiki treatment for the improvement of the body and mind. So it's a motion where, and then it has on here, some accounts of people that, have taken these classes and have received some things in relation to, some positive feedback in terms of Reiki. So I'm going to go over what it has mentioned here. It says, and these are some of the things that it has reported here, and as far as what is the effective in. So it can help to heal neurological problems. Um, it heals night vision problems, back pain. Um, it says Reiki can clear spirit attachments. It heals depression. Heals accident injuries. Heals fertility problems. Post-traumatic stress disorder. It can help with healing of burns. It says Reiki removes growths. It heals collarbone. You have and these right here are accounts, and I'm just reading them off. I'm not going into the stories, but it has hospice healing here, and then in regards to hospice, we all know what hospice is. Where a person is getting ready to make that transition to transcend to the other side. And oftentimes you may feel where they're experiencing some increasing inflammation as they make that transition, as well as pain. So it says here, this is an account of it says a friend of the person that wrote this particular review said her uh, had lung cancer. When she found out the friend was in the hospital, there was no hope for the friend who was dying. She said that the friend mentions here that the friend was in a lot of pain, and the nurses urges the family, to make arrangements, um, for funeral services. She said her friend used Reiki over the area where her tumor was, and then proceeded to do a full over the full body. She said the heat felt so good to her because she had been so cold. She and this other friend who visited this friend in the hospital stayed for over an hour and realized that her aura was very close to her body. She said the next day when she went back, her friend mentioned that she slept like a baby and had no pain, which was the first time in months. She goes on to say, we gave her another treatment. The nurses saw what we were doing and closed the door to give us privacy. She sat up and spoke for a little while then she fell asleep as we continued treating her. The next day I went back to see her and my heart sank. The bed was empty. I asked where she was, meaning which funeral home. They said she went home. I could not believe it. I found her at a home of one of her friends who asked us to give Reiki treatments to her because of a bad back. We did this gladly since she was taking care of our friend. My friend eventually passed away 2 weeks later, but not in pain and fear in a hospital bed, but in a home with people who loved her and was by her side. So she treated this person with the Reiki energy until she felt like she was ready to go forward. She had no fear, no pain, and it was tremendous blessing for her. So this Reiki healing, it has, Reiki healing and ulcerative colitis. I'm going to click on it has Reiki healing and knee injury, Reiki and intuition. So I'm going to read this account of what a person who mentions about Reiki and intuition. So it says, I'd like to share a story of something that happened yesterday about Reiki and intuition. Since working with Reiki, I noticed I've had heightened intuition that Reiki shows up and guides me exactly when I need it to. I do believe this is one great example. Yesterday, I was getting ready to go to an appointment. I had just finished teaching a Reiki level 1 class and was really in the flow of Reiki. I was feeling great. I love turning on the Reiki newbies to Reiki. The class left and I was gathering my things to go to the appointment. I went out to my car to put my appointment book inside. Um, so I would not forget it. My car in the garage was locked, which is odd. I put the book on top of the hood and went back into the house to get my keys so I could open the car and put my planner on the car seat. Once I got inside my condo, I was distracted and never went back out to the car until it was time to leave. Then I got inside the car and drove away. I had the distinct feeling that I was forgetting something, but I was in a hurry and ignored it. It wasn't until I got to my appointment and reached over to the passenger side to get my planner that I realized what I had done. I had driven away with my planner on the roof of my car. Oh no, my planner has the dates of all my Reiki appointments, booked a month or two out, my class dates and names of the students, and cash and checks from the current week's sessions. Um, Give me just a moment because my tablet just went blank. So we're going to proceed and pulling up the information that I was just reading. Okay, so we're going to proceed with the story of the Reiki and intuition, because I want to see what happened in regards to this. Okay, so he says, my whole life is essentially what he says. I got out of the car and felt shell shocked. I just stood there picturing my planner pages and money flying down the street, scattered everywhere. I began to feel hysterical and then just stopped and gave myself Reiki. Right there on the sidewalk in the middle of a busy street, I put both of my hands on my heart and sent HSZSN to the situation and asked that it be resolved for the best and highest good. I also gave myself a hefty dose of SHK to quell the mountain hysteria. Then I went into the office where I had the appointment. I felt strangely calm and a feeling came over me immediately that everything will be okay no matter what. I knew the planner would be found and it will be intact. I no longer felt panic. I sat for a while and then was guided to call a neighbor. I asked the receptionist for a phone book, got my neighbor's number, and called her. What is odd about this is that I do not know this neighbor. I live in a condo and have many neighbors. This neighbor lives in another building, and in the 16 years I've lived here, we've never spoken. We've waved and we know of each other, but we've never made contact. However, I knew I needed to call her. She answered her phone and I identified myself, hoping she would recognize my name. Right away, she blurted out, I found your planner. It was in the middle of the street, about a block and a half from your home. I was incredulous. She said she stopped her car, got out, looked at the first page, saw my name, and brought it to my home. Because I was not home, she put it in my mailbox and left a message on my home phone. She said it was intact and not damaged at all. I was so excited, I screamed and then cried. I love how Reiki guides me to do these things, sends me where I need to go. I believe it helped this entire situation. It certainly made me feel better. I am so grateful for its powerful yet gentle presence in my life. Thank you. So that's just one story there. You have Reiki heals a broken arm. Reiki ends alcohol addiction, osteoporosis. We got cancer healed, stiff neck healed, blood pressure lowered. Now I'm going to click on the one that mentions about blood pressure being lowered. This account. So this person says, I received my Reiki 1 and 2 training last month and have an experience to share. It was exciting. I've given my dad several Reiki treatments in the last couple of weeks and he's loving them. Says he feels so warm and relaxed and just can't get over the heat from my hands. Yesterday, he had a pacemaker inserted. Went to the hospital this morning with my mom to pick him up, and he wasn't feeling so well. So he felt lightheaded and foggy, had nausea, and his blood pressure was quite high. Also, pain at the incision site. So I watched the nurse's actions for a bit, trying this and that before I got bold. Then I went to the nurse's station and asked if anyone had heard of Reiki. Well, some had and some hadn't. I explained a little and his nurse said, go for it. So I did. I gave him a 30-minute treatment and then watched the monitors from the nurse's station and had me hit the BP button as soon as I was finished so they could check the readings. His blood pressure had lowered significantly, 20 points on the top and 10 on the bottom. And within another 15 minutes or so, he had gone down further. When I walked out of his room, they were saying, way to go, good work in there. Did you see how much it came down? His nausea, pain, and foggy feelings cleared up too. He was discharged a short time later. And I just happened to have some of my newly printed business cards on me and passed them out as I left. Too much fun. I would love to hear any experiences you guys have had, so please share. Hope to hear from you soon. So that is one account in regards to blood pressure. Now it has one here in regards to it saps a kidney stone. I mean, it just goes on countless. Let's go to countless things that Reiki, reports of what Reiki has done for people. I think I'm going to go to the one that mentions about smoke cessations. So we're going to do that now. Bear with me just a moment. Just a moment. Okay. So it says, I saw a friend at a party who had smoked cigarettes for 30 years, who was just trying to quit, but the pills she was taking to help her were giving her a headache, and she was about to leave the party. I felt sorry for her and asked her if she would like to try Reiki. She said she will try anything. We arranged to get together and give her a Reiki session, and she said she had stopped taking the pills. Another friend, Devaki, helped me with the session. I did aura clearing, and then Devaki and I gave Denise hands-on Reiki. After the session, I started distance Reiki and kept contact with Denise. After this, she stopped smoking cigarettes. It has been 4 months and Denise hasn't smoked a cigarette. She is so thrilled and tells everyone about Reiki. Actually, she is taking Reiki 1 now. Reiki works. Thanks to you, God, to our Reiki teachers and Reiki practitioners. Is what they have listed here. So if you begin to look into this particular practice, um, I do feel like it is mind over matter. However, we can say that about pretty much everything. That is whatever he puts in your mind. I mean, you could look at it in a different format, mind over matter, not just your thoughts or the will. If you open yourself up to God, that is mind over matter. Like he will put things into your psyche when you are receptive to him to help perpetuate that healing process. Okay. And you do have a choice, I feel, in not every instance, I will say that. But, I do feel like it's a blueprint, as I mentioned, this life experience. And, we are under a contract. And whether that contract can be extended, that could possibly be, because I can't speak for God. That could very well possibly be, in certain circumstances, for those who have favor. But I do honestly feel as though, this life experience is just as that. Um, so I will be looking into, doing the Reiki healing as well. And there's some other things out there that if you get off into alternative ways of healing and practices and things of that nature, you're going to all, it's going to all come into focus with you. Essentially, it's all God, plain and simple, you know, plain and simple. It's just based on if you are receptive to letting him in. Okay, so I do thank you for tuning in or listening in to this uh, holistic health podcast, as well as webinar on my YouTube channel. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, you're more than welcome to comment below. And thank you for tuning in. Have a safe and wonderful day.